On October 31st, 1999, why do I remember this date? I learned something that changed my life. What was it? Well, at the time, I was a grad student working on my PhD in physics, but my discovery did not happen in a physics lab. I was actually at an elementary school. Okay. But I wasn't in the elementary school. I was actually skateboarding outside of the elementary school. And what I learned was this. So now, that may look like nothing to you, but for me, it was a huge deal. That's a skateboarding trick called a 360 flip. So why do I remember this date? Why was it so important to me? I had been trying this trick for years, and I just could never, ever get it. It was infuriating. It was frustrating. It was discouraging. But the kooky thing is, I never gave up on trying to do the 360 flip. Not sure why, but so that's October 31st, 1999. I landed my first 360 flip. But then, boom, fast forward to today. The 360 flip, the trick that took me years to figure out, the trick that I thought really I could never do, this is now by far my most consistent trick. I get angry if I do not land this trick now. Okay, so this is what it is, a 360 flip. The board, I pop the board up in the air, it does a 360 spin, simultaneously does a flip. Okay, so that's what the trick is. And before October 31st, 1999, I was like, who does that? How do you do that? Okay, and I've gone from that to, now this is a trick I'm really proud of. This is a 360 flip to manual, which is you just only land on the back wheels and balance. It's a very technical trick. If you had told me 12 years ago that I would be showing you this video now, I would have thought you were crazy, because it wasn't possible. I didn't know how to do it, okay? So there's a touch of irony in this image, which is, if you go back to October 31st, 1999, whatever conditions I had at the time in skateboarding allowed me to work without much progress for years on something, and I wasn't really sure if I was ever going to get it. The funny thing is, I don't think we do the same thing inside that building in the background, all right? It's strange to me. So what I want to kind of do today is just kind of share what a learning experience in skateboarding is all about. And I'll let you connect the dots, but I think you'll find it's drastically different from what we do in a lot of our schools. So the trick, let's see, so I tried to pick a specific one. This is the example I always use. The trick I'm doing is, this is called a pop shove it. Okay, you pop the board up, it does a 180 turn. After that, I don't want to just land flat. I want to land on my front wheels. That's called the nose manual. Okay, and then after that, I want to do what's called a little nollie shove it. I'm going to, off of my front wheels, I'm going to do another 180 rotation. Okay, so the crux of my presentation is really going to be in the next minute. So what I ask you to do is really concentrate on what you see in this next video clip, because I think it really encapsulates everything I'm going to say afterwards. But this is a learning experience in skateboarding. So I'm trying to put all of these different tricks together into one move. This is what it looks like. Oh, crap. Whoa, whoa. Wow, why am I almost dying every time I try this?
The trick's impossible. No one actually knows how to do it.
Whoa. Damn it, I thought that was it. Oh, jeez. I'm a natural. totally straightforward, painless process. So what I want to share with you is I think there are some lessons to be learned from this example from skateboarding. And the first one is this. In skateboarding, failure is normal. Failure is expected. I did not land that trick first try. Okay, I didn't land it second try or third. It took me. I didn't show all of you. I didn't show all of the attempts. It took me 58 tries to get that trick. All right, that means I failed 57 times, and there's no sugarcoating it. It's like you don't give a C+ on one of the attempts because you made it halfway across the concrete slab. No, it's I didn't land the trick 57 times. Okay, the 360 flip, that took me years of failure before I actually figured it out, okay? So the important thing is that in skateboarding, the failure isn't stigmatized somehow. Any skateboarder knows what that process looks like. It's normal, it's expected. Okay, this next important point I want to mull over a little bit. Okay, in skateboarding, this is understood, but I tried to write it out in a sentence, okay? Nobody knows ahead of time how long it takes anyone to learn anything, okay? I'll just make the bold statement and just assert that's true, okay? How many of our educational environments are predicated on knowing very specifically how long it takes to learn particular things? I would say quite a few. But this is exactly the reason why skateboarders find school environments extremely strange, is we understand this. Schools don't really have this kind of property. Anyways, a natural consequence of understanding this point is that in skateboarding, there's really only one secret to learning. It's what I call the secret to learning anything, really, and it's this. Work your ass off until you figure it out. That's all there is in skateboarding. It's, and you don't decide, if I was only given 50 tries to, land a pop shove it, nose manual, shove it out, I'm not going to get it. If I'm cut off after a month of trying 360 flips, I'm never going to learn 360 flips. That's a shame, because I might have been kind of good at it. Yeah. So let's see. Next point, and I'm going to get a lot of boos from the audience, but sorry, learning is not fun, okay? Just picture what you just saw in your head. It's like, was I having fun? Not really, okay? And if you're not convinced, let me seal the deal here. Have I made my point? I don't know. It's okay. With the fun is not exactly the right word. A better word, the experience of learning a skateboarding trick, it's not really fun. It's closer to what's known as flow. It's all about finding Goldilocks challenges. It's finding challenges that are not too easy, not too difficult, but are really right just beyond our capabilities, our limits. And that's where we learn, that's where we find this condition of flow. So I don't think it's nitpicking on words. Fun is very different from flow. But anyways, learning in skateboarding, it's all about flow. So the next feature of this, learning in skateboarding, there are no grades. Okay, this is dumb. I mean, no, thank you. This is the most offensive one. What if I land the trick? A+? It's like, no, actually, it's the goal. The goal in skateboarding is to learn the trick. The reward in skateboarding is landing the trick. It's like layering grades on top of this adds nothing to the experience at all. Okay. Skateboarding is not brought to you by the letter A. It just isn't. Okay. So, all right. There are no grades in skateboarding, so consequently there is no cheating. Okay. Compare and contrast the following statements. All right. It's like, hey man, can I copy your math homework? hey man, can I copy your pop shove it nose manual, shove it out? One of those two doesn't sound right, and there's a reason for that, okay? Because you can't cheat in skateboarding. I don't know how to do it. I mean, it's when learning is the goal and learning is the reward, there's no point in cheating. This is just how it works. Last point about this, there's no teacher in that video clip I showed you. I mean, I'm sort of a teacher, but I mean, not in that capacity, in that, you know, teachers are completely optional, okay? It's not that they can't be helpful, but they are completely optional in this environment, okay? Now, I was trying to figure out why is that, all right? What is it that teachers add then if we're going to have teachers? And it's this, I have this concept of real-time meaningful feedback, okay? The reason we don't need a teacher in that environment is because, you know, I have my skateboard and gravity and a concrete slab continuously telling me what I need to improve on and what I'm doing. You know, I leaned too far forward, I mashed the nose of my board into the ground, I didn't pop my board high enough, I was going too slow. All of that is coming to me instantaneously, and I don't need someone standing on the sidelines telling me that or giving me grades or, you know, unmeaningful feedback in any way. Now what I want to do very quickly is I want to sort of shoehorn a physics demonstration into my talk so I can make a strained analogy at the end. So here we go. It's like, and can we have the lights down, please? Oh, thank you. Now, one of the, you know, I've taught physics for a long time. One of the things I always try and teach my students is, you know, well, we turned the lights off in here, and you know, what happened to the room? It got dark. Okay, well, now something is difficult when the room is dark, which is, yeah, you can't really see. So we usually associate things like light and, you know, darkness as, you know, we associate this with our, you know, sense of sight. You know, I have a flashlight here, and, you know, sorry if I'm hurting anybody, but, you know, if I click this, you know, strobe this on and off, you guys can see this, right? Yep. Okay. I'm doing exactly the same thing right now. How many of you can see this? Not one of you? Are you trying hard enough? Okay, what I actually have in my hand is a remote control. Now, when I point this at you, you don't see very much, but if I point it at our friend, the digital infrared camera, your remote control is actually a pretty intense infrared strobe light. Okay. Now, why can't you see this with your eyes? Well, infrared is not a, you know, a wavelength of light that we can actually pick up with our eyes. It's immediate, but the funny thing is it's just outside of the range of light that we can actually pick up with our eyes, right? Now, there's an important lesson you can learn from your remote control. When you start learning some physics, one of these lessons you learn is that there's an enormous universe of light out there. And what we can actually see with our own eyes is extremely, and it's, you know, it's actually too big in the diagram, but it's like what we can see with our eyes is an extremely tiny sliver of the universe of light that's out there, you know. But the you know, this one simple example, I hope all of you look at your remote control differently now, okay? Infrared light, it's just outside of what our experience is like. But we need a little help to notice these sorts of things. We can build instruments and stuff like this. So we've managed to explore what all of this other universe of light is like. What I'm asking everyone here to do today is to do the same with learning and education. We have this whole spectrum of what learning is, but unlike the electromagnetic spectrum, we haven't done a very good job of exploring what's out there, okay? We're stuck in this sort of like, well, what do we see? We're stuck in this very narrow band of experience. That's just schools. That's most of the time, that's what people are used to or what they think of when they think of teaching and learning. And what I want to point out is that maybe if you just look a little bit outside of a school, you can notice something that maybe is a little bit different that's going on that might give us some clues as to how broad the spectrum of learning really is. Thank you.